I would like to call the Monessen City Council meeting on February 9th, 2021 at 7 p.m. to order. Roll call, please.
Councilman Grigger.
Here.
Councilman Orchowski.
Here.
Councilman Coles.
Here.
Councilwoman Thomas.
Here.
Mayor Sherrill.
Here. Please rise for the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we had an executive session at 6:30 regarding two personnel issues, one involving a pay raise and the other involving a disciplinary action. And I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the January 12th, 2021 meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any corrections, questions, comments on the minutes?
Mayor, I have a question. We're talking January or February?
The January 12th minutes.
Okay, I think it's that one. Let's see. My simple question is, there is no report for the healthcare fund.
Are you referring to like under Councilman Coles?
Yeah.
I don't think we took any action on that fund. Well, it's not in the minutes because we didn't take any. What's that?
Still check the balance.
Well, I mean, we can. We haven't been adding that balance, but we could include that balance.
We have it in February.
Do we?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't on January's agenda, so that's why it wouldn't be in the minutes.
That's the reason I'm asking.
Was it discussed at the meeting?
I don't think so. I don't remember it being discussed.
If it was discussed at the meeting, it should be reflected in the minutes.
Yeah, I don't remember it being discussed.
No.
Did we discuss it?
We discussed it because we don't have a contract yet. And not being here in healthcare means it's one of the top 5 items that we have in that dollars remaining for this month. Last month, it wasn't in the top dollars.
Call the roll.
Councilman Orchowski.
Yes.
Councilman Coles.
Yes.
Councilwoman Thomas.
Yes.
Councilman Grigger.
Aye.
Mayor Sherrill.
Yes. Before I call Ernie up to speak, the treasurer would like to do his report because he has to leave for work. So, Jerry, if you would.
Mayor and members of council, it's the report from the Treasurer's Department of ending February 9th, 2021. Garbage fees and city real estate taxes collected. Garbage fees for the month of January, $236,954.09. Year-to-date was the same amount. Budget amount for 2021 is $370,000. Garbage fees delinquent. January, $13,978.08. Year-to-date, same amount. Budget amount for 2021, $120,000. Portnoy, we received monies from Portnoy this month. Interest and penalties. Total come to $1,054.05. Garbage Housing Authority, $15,258.75. Year-to-date, same. Budget amount for 2021, $80,000. Total, $570,000. Garbage fees collected for 2022, $675.20. Budget amount, $60,000. City real estate taxes revenues. We received nothing in January, year-to-date was $0. The budgeted amount are as follows for the following departments. The general fund will receive $1,457,000. Debt service fund will receive $500,000. Parks will receive $250,000, and the library will receive $50,000. for a total of $2,257,000. Delinquent city taxes. City taxes prior year collected by the city, $3,612.14. Year-to-date, same amount. Budget amount for 2021, $9,100. City taxes collected by Portnoy. We received nothing this month. City taxes collected by Westmoreland County Tax Claim Board. We received nothing this month. For Westmoreland County yearly budget amount is $210,000. Total year-to-date taxes, $3,612.14. Distribution is as follows. General Fund received $2,331.81. Hip Service Fund received $800.20. Parks received $400.10, and the library received $80.02 for a total of $3,612.14. Real estate transfer tax received in January $7,218.62. Year-to-date, same amount. 2021 budget amount $60,000. Earned income tax. January received $24,662.40. Year-to-date, same amount. Budget amount $650,000. Mercantile tax, we got nothing this month yet. Budget amount is for 2021 is $28,000. Local service tax. January received $2,621.56. Year-to-date, same amount. 2021 budget amount is $77,000. Tax certifications. January received $1,470. Year-to-date, same amount. Budget amount for 2021, $22,000. Municipal lien letters. January received $900. Year-to-date, same amount. 2021 budget amount, $16,500. Mayor, that concludes my report. I need a motion, please.
So moved. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Coles?
Aye.
Councilwoman Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Grigor?
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Mayor Sherrod?
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And Ernie, you and I'm just going to plug my phone.
Time out. Chris, they're saying there's no video on the mayor's page.
Thank you, Ike.
You're welcome, guys and ladies. Anything to speed up the meeting.
I concur.
Okay. My name's Ernie Telegraphus, 29 Rex in Monessen. I'm glad to see that we have the website put up. And I look at this website and it disturbs me with the first page. First it says that Monessen is a former steer town and our authentic heritage and rich history will make you feel at home. Right above here, it says leave an anonymous tip. Are we entering Homeland Security?
That is.
Or the thing is, you're not going to encourage people coming in or businesses if from the very beginning, and you have it on multiple pages, anonymous tip. Okay? And I know where that's going. Like if you see a bar or a restaurant not complying with this, they're gonna call it in.
If I may,
Yeah.
if you click on that anonymous tip, you'll see two options. One is to file a code complaint, and one is to tip for drug activity.
Okay.
Those are two items that people don't feel comfortable commenting on while putting their name to it. And
Okay,
there is
if-
also an option that if you unlawfully lie about
Okay,
it.
but that's a police
So-
state. When the citizens live, and everybody who works for the government lives to enforce laws, that's a police state.
Well-
Okay? Now, if you're gonna encourage people to come in from out of town so they can make this a true proposition, rich history will make you feel at home. That doesn't make me feel at home when we're gonna be reporting and snitching on each other.
Well, wouldn't you agree that we need to address blight and drugs?
That's the job of the police.
And
A police
they-
state is, every citizen does not exist to support the police. Okay? That's a separate entity. When everybody gets up in the morning so there could be a good police snitch person, that's a police state. And you're not gonna spend any energy in creating prosperity because you're too busy enforcing laws. So you're either gonna be on one side of the river or the other side. The police got their work and you got your work. And your work is not to be part of the federal government, the state government, or the county government. You got grassroots here. You're supposed to represent people here and why we're not making things work here. Now, you guys spent, what, $100,000 for the comprehensive plan. I'll go down the list. How many of these things were materialized, or how many were initiated? Prepare requests for proposals for key publicly owned sites for redevelopment. Enhance multiple modal transportation options. Support small businesses, encourage entrepreneurs. I go down the list, and you know what? It's all zeros.
Because we just adopted it last month.
What did you adopted it? They were working on it since last
And we
year.
adopted it last month.
The thing is, what have you done, or what you got? You got any inroads of what you're gonna be doing in order to fulfill any of this? So what we do is we throw money away, do good lip service, okay? And then we think we did our work.
Hey, Ernie,
Yeah, go ahead.
just one thing, just so it's clear. The city didn't pay $100,000 for the...
I know, okay, you're being technical. It's still yet the taxpayers paid $100,000, the city paid $10,000. I know that. It still cost $100 grand for what? Well, okay, so this is where we're going. Now, our government has been taken over with a bunch of globalists who lie constantly on the media, okay? And they got everybody walking around like slaves. This is a slave thing, okay? And they're counting on your ignorance and your compliance for them to pull it off. And so far, 80% of the people are falling for it. Okay, so what does that mean? These masks, by the way, I just heard the World Economic Forum, okay, which I covered in my paper. This is going to be till 2024 until they convinced everybody to be a communist role model for the New World Order. That's where we're going. Okay, just like they said in the beginning, we're going to just do masks for 2-3 weeks, lockdowns. What? It just kept perpetuate. Now they're talking about what? A new strain coming. Okay? What does that mean? That means more lockdowns are coming and more restrictions. And everyone's following along like ducks in a row because nobody's thinking. Nobody's questioning. The biggest thing is this. I like to see you guys, especially the council members, because that's why the people who elected you, okay, to do your best to maintain your own sovereignty, okay? When you exercise your own autonomy, you're going to make the decisions that will affect Monessen. You're not going to try to show off that you're in line with a global role model of a global citizen, that we're all behind this Because only the billionaires are gonna make out of all this. They're destroying the middle class, and it's happening right in front of you. All they keep saying is, when we get vaccinated, everything's gonna get back to normal. It ain't gonna get back to normal. Right now, 70% of all small businesses are never gonna open up. So what does that mean about local businesses?
Well, how long must we listen to this?
Well, I know this is too much for you, okay? That's your problem. You don't wanna listen to citizens because you make a quick judgment. But there is so much stuff out there that nobody is searching on the internet. There are over 4,000 doctors and scientists that are against all this stuff. But we keep seeing the same Masonic personnel on TV, Fauci, and all the other Gates and all that. They all belong to a global clique, to a Kabbalah that doesn't care about you. They talk as if they care about you, but they got ulterior motives. So, what I'm trying to stress here is I'd like to see you guys get together, not to complain each other, who's at fault, try to get an inventory. What could you people do for the city of Monessen to get it moving? Okay? Now, as a backstop and as a lifesaver, John did a good job in trying to get funds, okay? But you can't live on borrowed money 24/7. It's like trying to raise a family and you keep borrowing money off of your parents or off of other people. Somebody got to produce. Okay, so you cannot just rely on government funds. And anyway, all government funds got strings attached to it. So there will be a government debt dependency instead of being your own sovereignty, your own autonomy. And this is what you guys got to start thinking together, how you're going to produce as a self-autonomy local government. What could you do? Did you take an inventory? So far, what we got? We go down to the dinosaur diner, the elephant, it's still sitting there. Nobody's doing nothing. If you could get that building back, maybe you could rent it out and start bringing some commerce in here. Nobody's doing it. I don't know what the problem. I've been talking about this for 4 years. Nobody does it. I don't know what's holding back. What about you, Tim? I mean, what did you venture into trying to see if we could get that building back?
I'm not even sure which building you're, which building is it?
The old city.
Oh, yeah, we have looked at different issues that have been raised about that building.
Yeah, but nobody's doing anything.
It's complicated.
Well, it's complicated. How's it complicated? First of all, they broke a law. You cannot give a deed to a house without full payment. Nobody's going to jump on that?
You can give a deed to a house without full payment. That is possible, but I mean, there are issues with that. I understand that. And we have, as council, started talking about those issues, and we've looked at those issues. So they are things that we are on our radar, and we're open to address them.
Look, this is where I'm going. Things are going to get real rough. 2021 is going to be 5 times worse than 2020. I know it's hard for you guys to believe it because you believe the baloney that they give you. We're going to, after we get vaccinated, we're all going to, sing Kumbaya together. It's all lies. They got to break you down in order to become a communist country. All communism took place when? They made Cuba dirt poor. Russia was poor. China was poor. That's how they become communists. When you're down on your knees and you got nothing else to look forward to, and they cut your wheel, and the laws prohibit you from really being your own entrepreneur, then what? You'll take anything the government will give you. So, since we still got a constitution, and we still got some freedom, try to put something together that will make Monessen work without strings attached. That's what John does is fine, but you can't count on borrowing money 24/7 from now until hell freezes over. It ain't going to work. Then you got other locations here, or businesses, big companies, and they still not paying their fair share. You got people that own a house, and they're paying $6,000, $7,000 in school property tax, and these people that are making millions are paying less than that a year. Nobody's addressing that. So what's gonna happen when units are going through halfway into 2021 and you find out there's no money coming in, or not enough of it? You guys are talking about a raise here. So all these expenses are gonna come up, but nobody's doing nothing in producing the revenue to address what you would like to have and all the toys the government wants to have. So where are we? Now, I brought this in, but it seems like some people don't give a shit. Okay, I brought where Gary Mullis, who invented the PCR test, even says on TV in 2014, on TV, that that guy is a political hack. He knows nothing about biology, whatever. He says that, and I got it on tape. He said that, and he said we even offered him to debate me, and he won't debate me because he knows I'll put him in his place. He's nothing but a political hack who's trying to do an agenda. The agenda is a global agenda, and they're trying to bring in the New World Order that everybody thinks is a nice thing. You know, it sounds good, New World Order, but they don't got no clue what that means. So, all I would like you guys to do is to start working together on how you're going to get Monessen at least on its feet, not on its knees, begging for money all the time, and then blaming each other. You should have done this, you should have done that. It ain't going to work. So, I'm just going to cut it here until we have another segment of the meeting that I can address what you guys are doing today. But that's where I'm at. But anyway, I appreciate you guys giving me the time to speak. Because all we do is we keep listening to the same people 24/7. Cases are not infectious. And people are getting infected when they go through all that stuff. And they don't realize it. Now, I have that on tape too by 4 doctors and scientists. And they got more credentials than all the idiots you see on TV that keep promoting the same baloney day after day. Thank you again.
Thanks. All right, I'd like to open the floor to public comment on agenda items only. If anyone has anything on agenda items only. Okay. Moving.
Wait, can you give me a second agenda?
Yeah.
You guys move too fast, I don't know why.
We haven't been, but the door is open.
We're going to do
I
it.
didn't ask you that, we're taking phone.
No, we don't have a phone here. We don't have a phone by the table. But the door is open if someone wants to come in. There is an audience here.
I've had 1 or 2 people text me that saying they're trying to call in or call the 900, 9,000 number.
And the phone's on the other side of the room. But like I said, the door is open.
Okay, number F, or that's on, I don't know what page it is. It says that most of the advertisement appoint 3 large community members to blighted property review board.
Yes.
I don't understand that. Who you're trying to get?
We, if you look at item E, right before that, that is we're required by law to establish a blight review board that works with the redevelopment authority, the planning commission, and the zoning board. And so once we establish that, there are 3 members of the public that can be appointed to that board. So we will advertise to take applications for people in the public to submit applications to be appointed to that board.
And what's going to come out of it? Like, once you find the 3 people, then what?
So it's actually a 7-member board, so it'll be 3 community members, 1 member from redevelopment, 1 member from planning, 1 member from council, and either myself, John, or the city clerk. And the purpose is to declare like blighted property, recommend them to the redevelopment authority. Is there anything I'm missing?
Okay,
So
now,
that's the gist
I have
of
a
it.
big question. If the redevelopment authority is broke, why would you recommend giving it to them to handle it?
Well, I mean, we're required to have this.
It's the law.
Oh, okay, so what the redevelopment authority is going to do if they don't have any money?
it's their task to find money.
With the people that got on board now, they're gonna find money? This is how it goes. It goes like a cat chasing its tail. It all looks good because everybody's in motion, but where does it end up at? That's it for now.
Thanks. All right, moving on to correspondence. I have a proclamation here on Black History Month, and I am going to read it because I feel that it is important. Whereas, since the founding of our city, Monessen's Black community has excelled in contributing to the progress of our city and our nation by their exemplary resolve in rising above all obstacles and highlighting the strength and grit that is found in a Monessenite. And whereas Emancipation Day, now known as Juneteenth, was celebrated in Monessen by the African American community in the early years of the 20th century, with parades, a queen, and lectures, along with the reading of President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation. And whereas in 1900, the Wayman Chapel Historical Literary Society was the first literary group formed in Monessen. And whereas in 1901, the African Americans of Monessen formed the Afro-American League. And whereas in 1901, the African Americans formed the John M. Langston Social and Political Club in Monessen. And whereas in 1903, the Pittsburgh Steel Company's colored ball team named the Giants was formed. Whereas in 1904, the African American business community of Monessen formed the Progressive Business Association. And whereas in 1909, the Monessen Choral and Literary Club was formed to promote the study of literature and music among the African Americans in Monessen. And whereas 100 years ago, in 1921, the African American veterans of the Great War formed a Black American Legion in Monessen. And whereas in 1929, the Mon Valley NAACP was officially formed. Whereas in the 1930s, Page Park, Monessen's minor league ball field, regularly hosted the Negro League games. And whereas on July 24th, 1938, Josh Gibson of the Homestead Grays hit one of the longest home runs of his career at 536 feet out of Page Park in downtown Monessen in a game between the Homestead Grays and the Memphis Red Sox. And whereas Edgar Duncan was Monessen High School's first African-American valedictorian, he was also the first African-American graduate from Duquesne University's pharmacy school, as well as the first African-American graduate of the University of Pittsburgh's Graduate School of Public Health. He later became the first Black Assistant United States Surgeon General. And whereas Michael Moorer graduated from Monessen High School in 1987 and went on to become a three-time heavyweight champion and successfully defended his light heavyweight title 9 times. He also fought matches in Korea, New Zealand, and others, and he won his biggest match against Evander Holyfield in 1994. And whereas Sherelle Allen graduated from Monessen High School in 2004 and attended Notre Dame University, she played professional basketball in Bulgaria for 8 seasons and also 1 season in Turkey. She is currently the girls' basketball coach at California State University, Fullerton. And whereas Ben Jones graduated from Monessen High School in 1962, where he helped to lead Monessen's 1961 championship team to victory. The team's lineup included Eric Crabtree, Bill Malinchak, and Tony Vitale. Bantam Ben went on to the University of Cincinnati on scholarship and was inducted into the Mid-Mon Valley Sports Hall of Fame in 2012. And whereas Eric Crabtree graduated from Monessen High School in 1966, studied at the University of Pittsburgh, and went on to play in the National Football League for the Denver Broncos, the Cincinnati Bengals, and the New England Patriots. And whereas Michael Bright graduated from Monessen High School, where he led Monessen's basketball team to their first ever championship, he went on to study at Bucknell University, where he was a Hall of Fame basketball player. He now serves as the president and CEO of the YMCA of Newark, New Jersey. And whereas Denise Barton graduated from Monessen High School in 1971 and studied at Michigan State University and Georgetown University Law Center, she served as a judicial clerk for Pennsylvania Supreme Court Justice Mandarino and recently served as an assistant attorney general in Michigan, where she focused on civil litigation, employment, and elections. And whereas Moylan Turner Jr. graduated from Monessen High School in 1986 and retired as a sergeant first-class military specialist, detailed recruiter, and military police, military occupational specialty. And whereas Monessen's Black community has been and continues to be heavily involved in the progress of our city and plays a vital role in the fabric of our city's identity. Now, therefore, I, Matthew T. Sherraw, Mayor of the City of Monessen, do hereby commemorate this Black History Month and the contributions made by all people of color, not only in Monessen, but also across our Commonwealth and our country, for Black history is American history. Going down to item B, the city's 2019 audit will be completed by April 30th, 2021. The Department of Community and Economic Development has unflagged the city of Monessen based on the completion date, and we will receive all state and federal monies. And the city's 2020 audit will be completed by July 30th, 2021. The City of Monessen 2020 legal expenses versus 2019 legal expenses. You all should have had a sheet attached to your agenda. There were some legal expenses from 2019 that were paid in 2020 that were unpaid. So just to go through this, in 2020, the solicitor fees from Solicitor Witt were $32,903.75, and that was billed and paid in 2020. In 2019, solicitor fees from 2019 for the Matta Law Firm was $38,713.10, which was paid in 2019. Unpaid solicitor fees from the Matta Law Firm that were paid in 2020, $15,481.11. And unpaid miscellaneous fees paid in 2020 from 2019, $5,000, and that was from the Jim Franks case. And so the total of 2019 legal fees, including what was paid in 2020, is $59,194.21. So we've almost decreased by half. The city closed on the community bank property next door. The city is now the owner of that property effective January 29th, 2020. And we'd like to thank Community Bank for their donation and the years of service to the city. That also includes the courtyard outside. That's also the city's now. And the City Comprehensive Plan 2030 is on the city's website, and so is the executive summary, and members of council should have received a hard copy of the executive summary booklet as well. We received a formal complaint from Rihanna Merritt against Ed Lee of the Recreation Board. Council has received this complaint. I don't know if the solicitor has anything to say on that matter.
Yeah, I mean, we've received it, we'll have to review it, and then council, obviously needs to address it. But, yeah, that's for council to decide how they want to address that.
So we do have that, and we included it so it's part of the public record. The Recreation Board 2021 meeting schedule, they will meet every third Wednesday of the month at 7 p.m. at City Hall. Those meetings are open to the public. The Monessen Planning Commission for 2021 will meet every third Thursday of the month at 6 p.m. at City Hall. Again, those are open to the public. And the Monessen Environmental Advisory Board and the Shade Tree Commission will have joint meetings together at the Monessen Library at 6 p.m. every second Wednesday of the month, and those are also open to the public. We don't have any old business, and the treasurer's report was already read and approved. So I would like to hand it over to Rosalie to read the controller's report.
Mayor and members of council, the general fund community bank checking account, bank reconciliation as of January 31st, 2021. The beginning bank balance as of December 31st, 2020 was $227,134.48. Deposits made were $373,362.79. Expenses, $300,440.87. The ending balance as of January 31st, 2021 was $300,056.40. Outstanding checks, $78,701.57. And the outstanding deposits is $66,316.44. Reconciled balance to the bank statement, $287,671.27. That's the checking account report.
Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes.
if I may, I have some old business, please.
Okay.
I have four. Okay. I got a couple things I need to read to council.
Okay.
And these started, actually, they last, I believe, our last meeting,
Last week.
I believe, where it was in January, so I could be incorrect, but there was considerable discussion and things said about the insurance.
Mhm.
So I decided to find out the information for myself. So I have it. So I'm going to read this to council. This is from Marlena Reese, and she is the client service consultant
From Benetcon.
for PMHIC, which is Benetcon. Okay? And this was emails back in November of 19, so I will apologize. This is before December and all that.
You mean 20?
20, I'm sorry, you're right. So I was talking and asking her questions about what happened with the insurance.
Mhm.
And here's some information she gave me. And Jason Seltzer was our rep that was working with the city.
Mhm.
Good morning, Jason. I'm still working with our team internally to prepare the estimate of run-out costs should the city decide that they are leaving PMHIC 1/1 of 21. In the interim, I would suggest that you reach out to the group and explain the following items. 1, the city signed a 3-year contract to join the program. They had only completed 1 year of the agreement. 2, the city did not provide proper notice of an intent to terminate, due by 6/30/20. Because of this, Benetcon has a right to withhold any surplus the city may have earned in 2023. Since they are planning to leave the program before the initial 3-year commitment is complete, they will be required to pay back any cross-shared funds used to cover their claims deficit. As of 9/30/20, this was over $41,000. I expect that number to rise as the year continues. 4, the run-out costs will include an estimate of claims, 2 months of UHC administration fees, 2 months of Benetcon admin fees, and an optional 6 months of stop-loss coverage. They will need to pay for all the 6 months of SL. I will have final pricing and all the above by next week. Please reiterate to the group that these run-out costs are standard within the self-funded program. Lastly, we will need to know if they are going to keep their HRA administration with Benetcon or moving that to another vendor. I know that next week is a short week, but so this must have been before Thanksgiving. I'd like to set up a conference call with yourself, John, and Cheryl of Monessen, and our team here at Benetcon to review the planned items. As we have discussed, I don't think they have any idea the costs of leaving the program. Whoever they're planning to move to hasn't explained that to them. Please let me know a few of the dates and times that you and the city would be available. Tina McCrae of the Client Service Consultants of I believe this is a EHS law firm, said, "Hi all, I spoke to John Harhide today, November 20th, and they do not want to have a conference call. Sounds like they've made their final decision to move away from PMHIC. He just wants final numbers, and he said that they'll pay for whatever they need to." That followed up with a letter from legal counsel for Benetcon, and this is addressed to Mr. Harhide, Cheryl Gordon, and Mr. Witt got a copy of this. And this is dated December 16th. Dear Mr. Harhide, Ms. Gordon, and Mr. Witt, Article 7, Paragraph 2 of the Pennsylvania Municipal Health Insurance Cooperative Agreement dated December 16, 2019, the agreement provides that premiums are due to the first day of the month for the period of enrollment. That same paragraph provides the failure to pay a monthly premium due under the agreement before the first day of the succeeding month renders the member delinquent. Monessen was delinquent on 3 monthly premiums: April 2020, August 2020, and November 2020, when the PMHIC board met at 10 a.m. on December 11, 2020 to consider this matter amongst other issues. Each delinquency was a separate breach of the agreement warranty and immediate expulsion of the member. See Article 5, Paragraph 3 of the agreement. For these repeated breaches of the agreement by Monessen, the PMHIC voted unanimously to terminate the membership of Monessen in the cooperative effective midnight December 31st, 2020. We are aware that the check for payment of an invoice balance for April 20th, August 20th, and November 2020 were received by Benetcon late in the day on December 11th, 2020. That payment did not eliminate the repetitive delinquencies by Monessen, although once cleared, it will satisfy the original outstanding balance due to the delinquent invoices. It did not, however, include the 18% interest due on those delinquent payments. Nonetheless, PMHIC will waiver collection of those interest amounts. Further, December 2020 premium is of $46,792.42 billed to Monessen in November was due on December 1st, 2020, and is currently past due. Monessen must pay this premium on or before December 31st, 2020, in full, no void incurring the 18% interest penalty which applies under the agreement. See Article 7, Paragraph 4. PMHIC will also pursue its other legal remedies against Monessen should it fail to timely meet its December obligation and or continuing post obligations. This will also confirm that Monessen, each of you has informed verbally representatives of PMHIC on numerous occasions since November 12, 2020, that Monessen will be terminating its membership under the agreement effective at the end of the year. Monessen has not provided its written notice of this intention, despite requests therefore. Mr. Harhay has told Mr. Fred Bean and Solicitor Tim Witt has told the undersigned that Monessen has already secured alternative health coverage for its participants effective January 1st, 2021. The premature termination of the agreement before the expiration of the required 3-year minimum and the failure to provide any written notice also breaches this agreement. Given the repeated delinquencies and the decision by Monessen to quit the cooperative as it has represented it as it's done, the board decision is to repel Monessen as final. In consideration of the participants, the board has agreed to continue coverage for the participant under the end of this year, although the agreement it has authority to terminate the coverage on December 11, 2020. I have attached the latest estimated runout claims, UHS administration fees, Benetcon management fee, and the estimated cross-share repayments due from Monessen when presenting its continuing obligations under the agreement after termination. Please provide written confirmation that Monessen will timely meet those obligations. If Monessen brings its past due amount current on December 31st, 2020 and provides acceptable written assurance of its future complaints and its possible membership obligations, I will recommend the litigation not be instituted against Monessen at that time without prejudice to PMHIC rights. Sincerely, their legal counsel. After receiving that, I asked Mr. Seltzer, bottom line, that I needed an explanation of the 65-plus retiree that Mr. Greger so-called was attacking me and charging me on, and how could I let happen? Here is his response. Tony, as a follow-up to your question regarding the retirees 65 and over population and their inclusion into the PMHIC Benetcon program, I wanted to return to the initial conversation of the city. At the time that the benefit program was being evaluated, there were a few key issues that were communicated by the city that needed to be addressed. 1, potential liability for the city from administering the numerous plans. 1 group plan, 15 to 20 individual plans, and another 15 to 20 Medicare plans. The city expressed concern about what would happen if it missed a payment and where it was missed or delinquent, especially for the Medicaid population, and the impact that missing such a payment would have both on the retiree and the city. 2, the ability of the city to administer such a complicated benefits design, and the fact that all 3 groups, active, 365 retirees, and 65 over retirees, were entitled per their union contracts, according to the city, to have the exact same benefits. Under the prior arrangements, not only were the benefits not the same, but the networks were vastly different as well. Finally, there was a number of administrative and financial improvements that were made to reduce the liability and reduce the cost to the city, but that is a separate issue. The Benetcon PMHIC program could address all these issues by moving to one plan to pay for, one plan to administer, one set of benefits, and one network for everybody. There are financial claims related issues that further support this decision, as well that has been made communicated to the city. I hope in this, in conjunction with the correspondence from Benecon, if this suffices your needs. The last thing is the actual breakdown of the cost overruns, runouts from Benecon. Cost runouts are $82,000. UHC administration fee is $3,185. Benecon management fee is $1,881.57. Optional 3 or 6 months of specific stop loss runout coverage is $44,447, or $88,894 for 6 months. 2020 cross-year payment, $34,409 as of 10/31/20, subject to change through the end of the year. The estimated total run-out costs that the city of Monessen is going to get billed for is $210,395. So, this is stuff that I needed to say in response to what happened, that it clearly states I did not make those decisions. Benecon chose to put it all together in one package to better administer it, save the city money, and save further costs down the road.
So the one thing that I want to say to your point, you still signed the contract, and so you're basically saying that you signed it, and you didn't know what you were signing when you signed it.
Yep.
What didn't I know what we were signing? We saved $41,000 immediately.
And over 3 years, it would have cost over $400,000. You signed the contract in 2019, so you didn't know what you were signing when you signed it.
Oh, yes, we did.
You're just saying you didn't because you just read all that to us and you clearly didn't know it. So you signed the contract without knowing.
Yep.
No.
And don't say you didn't sign the contract because we have a copy of it with your signature on it as deputy mayor.
Yes, we signed it.
Yeah.
We approved it.
You did?
We were saving $41,000 in long-term costs. We're going to save the city overall with what we were paying at the time. Lois, you're free to say, if you want to say anything else, go there.
Yeah, I'm just, the way it's reading it, it seems to me it's saying that if we had the individual plans for each group, it would have came out to more instead of combining.
I believe we have 3 groups right now and it's less. So how is that?
Less. 150,000 less to begin with.
And we still have 3 groups.
You have debit cards now.
We had debit cards before.
You got rid of the debit card.
What's that? You broke up for a minute. What did you say?
Debit card.
What did you say? Sorry.
We got rid of the debit cards. Am I correct, Lois?
No, you
No, you
didn't.
did not get a Benecon card.
You don't know
It
what
was
you
the
had in
same
that
thing.
program.
Oh, my God.
You still had cards,
Doesn't even
and they
know.
still have cards now because, you know, it's part of, like, the retirees' contracts. They retire under the contracts that they
Tony,
retired.
you got involved in some legal stuff that is only the attorneys would handle. We have never received a final number from them to date. We paid up the last month of December, in January, and all we have left are the extending charges that from November, December, that will keep coming in for the next 3 or 4 months, and whatever they're going to charge us. At the 200 and some thousand, I don't know where you got that figure because I don't have it yet, and I'm the guy that's handling it.
You didn't even know that there was a debit card.
Yeah,
I
you don't know
can't
there's a
believe
debit
that.
card?
I just can't believe that.
That's a shame that you didn't know that.
And you signed the contract.
God almighty.
Next issue.
Thank you for your research. All right, moving on. Item A, I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 3 of 2021, a resolution of the City of Monessen approving that certain equalization take agreement with the Mon Valley Sewage Authority and to authorize and direct certain city officials and employees to take related action. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any questions? Call the roll.
Councilwoman Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman Grigger,
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Councilman Coles,
Aye.
Mayor Sherrod.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 4 of 2021, a resolution of the City of Monessen, Westmoreland County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, authorizing a grant application to be submitted to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development for the Strategic Management Planning Program. Is there a second?
Second?
And I just want to clarify, we received an email from DCD highly suggesting that we apply for this grant. And when someone highly suggests that you apply for a grant, you apply for the grant. It is to do projects that support the comprehensive plan, such as the county land bank, doing trainings for the Planning Commission and the Zoning Board through the PA Housing Alliance, helping the newly formed, or what will be the newly formed Monessen Blighted Property Review Board to provide feasibility, blight, so they could update the blight map, do some blight strategy work, code enforcement capacity building. There's talk of digitizing some things in the code office, which would help greatly. And then the match for the city's end, I believe I have in here. Where is it? The match will be $4,050, and I believe the whole grant application is $40,000. So, pretty good deal, and the fact that they're telling us to apply for it is pretty good as well. So this came up after last week's meeting, which is why it was not brought up to you all. I believe Mike emailed us on Monday, so yesterday.
Mike Foreman,
Yes.
DCED,
Yes.
he recommended.
Yes. He highly recommended we apply for it. So.
What is the application date, deadline?
That I don't remember. I remember him saying it was soon, though. It is this month. I want to say it's towards the end of the month.
So
The
we actually don't have time to review anything, so we just have to go with what you're telling us, correct?
Yes, and I can send you all a copy of the application as well when I write it, or whoever is going to write it. I assume it's going to be me, but whoever writes it, I can send you a copy of it. They did include a packet about the program, but it is from August 2019, the packet of information, so it doesn't give any deadline on it. So I don't remember when the deadline is. Call the roll.
Councilman Grigger,
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Councilman Coles,
Aye.
Councilwoman Thomas,
Yes.
Mayor Sherrod.
Yes. The next item, item C, I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 5 of 2021, a resolution of the City of Monessen, Westmoreland County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, establishing procedures for conducting Recreation Board financial transactions, establishing procedures for facility rentals at the Monessen Civic Center, and repealing inconsistent resolutions and providing for an effective date. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
And I reached out to the auditing firm, and this is at their recommendation. They sent me recommendations for how the financial transaction should be handled, that they should be going through the treasurer's office, and that these checks and balances need to be put in place to protect the city, the rec board, and everyone in between. So, again, this is at the recommendation of the auditor. So, any questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Councilman Coles,
Aye.
Councilwoman Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman
Have you-
Grigger,
Have you guys reviewed this with the rec board though? I know this is something you want to do, but have they had any input in this?
They have not, because the auditor was basically like, here's what you need to do. So I will make sure that they all get a copy of this.
When are we meeting with them?
We'll
17th.
be attending their meeting on
17th.
the
They'll be here?
17th. Yes.
On the 17th.
Okay.
Councilman Grigger,
Aye.
Mayor Sherrod.
Yes. Wait, did you get Lois? I don't think Lois voted.
Yeah, I had to say yes, I just asked a question.
Oh, sorry. Yes. I'd like to make a motion to adopt Resolution 6 of 2021, an intergovernmental cooperation agreement and memorandum of understanding between between the Westmoreland County Land Bank and the City of Monessen, a municipality in Westmoreland County. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Questions?
Is there any cost to this for us?
There is a $5,000 cost. However, the land bank has expressed interest in helping us by putting that money back into our code office instead of sending that money to them. So we're in discussion about that. And also, we have to wait for the school district. They have to approve one of these as well, which probably wouldn't happen until next month. So we're not looking at paying that money out right away. So obviously, things are a little tight right now since taxes
It's
haven't
my
been-
understanding that the land bank wants to use the $5,000 to digitize our code office.
Correct.
So we'll
What
be
was
back.
that?
The land bank would like to use the $5,000 that we would pay them to digitize the code office. Apparently, the software that the police department uses is also capable of being utilized for code enforcement.
And do we have that in some type of statement from them?
Yes. I have an email, it's in writing, so
Well, then maybe we should table this until we get that information.
I'd be happy to forward it to you, but I'd rather not table it since this is going to take so long in getting things lined up with the school district, and this is supported by the comprehensive plan that we just adopted.
Just one note on that. I mean, I just want to make everybody aware the agreement that you approve does not place any sort of conditions or requirements on the use of that $5,000. So
Right.
this agreement itself does not do that. It says the opposite. You know, there is no requirement or commitment under this agreement as to what would happen to that $5,000 once it's paid. Now, if there's a side agreement that's separate from this actual one, that's a different story. But this agreement itself, just so you guys are all aware, does not provide that distinct requirement.
Right.
that
This
actually
was the
provides.
standard agreement that they
Yeah,
sent.
it is. I mean, this is the standard. Any municipality that's involved in a land bank would have approved the same agreement.
Call the roll.
Councilman Coles?
Aye.
Councilwoman Thomas?
Was that a yes? Sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
You broke
Councilor
up.
Grigor?
Aye.
Councilor Norjakowski?
Yes.
Mayor Sharaf?
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to conduct the second reading and to enact ordinance number 1231 of the City of Monessen, an ordinance of the City of Monessen, Westmoreland County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, reestablishing a blighted property review board by and for the City of Monessen, reestablishing a purpose, reestablishing rules and regulations governing the board, providing definitions, providing procedures for the determination, acquisition, and reuse of blighted property, establishing an appeal process, establishing additional board functions, repealing ordinance number 5 of 2008, repealing ordinance number 7 of 1978, and providing for an effective date. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any questions?
Tim, I have a question for you.
Yes.
The question I have is, that this ordinance is placing the RDA in a position of deciding appeals and giving it the power to take the property. Should the ordinance be set up for an independent board with the council hearing the appeals? That way there's no conflict of interest?
Yes, so that actually reads the same way that the urban redevelopment law has it provided. So it's actually just tracking the urban redevelopment law. So, what some municipalities do is if there's an issue and an appeal is taken to the redevelopment authority board and somebody is unsatisfied with the decision of the redevelopment authority board, they can have a secondary appeal to city council at that point. But that kind of puts the redevelopment authority still in the position where they would be the ones making that initial determination, subject to ultimately the review on appeal to city council.
Also having this blight property review board, that you don't need it.
Well, it's really to fulfill a due process requirement where you're giving people the opportunity that if they have an objection to the initial determination that was made by the redevelopment authority, they have the ability to request a hearing to present their position and their objections to that determination. So it's to make sure that there's compliance with those due process requirements, and then a secondary level of oversight at the city level not only doubly fulfills that due process requirement, but then also provides an element of additional oversight as well.
And is there going to be a cost that possibly could be associated with this?
I mean, there could hypothetically, if the redevelopment authority wanted to assess like an appeal hearing fee, the redevelopment authority could do that. Obviously, they would be limited to only covering the actual costs of holding those hearings. But the redevelopment authority would, be able to assess a fee in the event that somebody did want to appeal. Generally, generally the best practice, at least, if not the actual requirement, is that if somebody appeals and they win their appeal, that they have their fee returned to them.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Why wouldn't we just have the appeals come before city council, just like we do when there's a house up for CDBG demo, and we allow the people to come before us before anything's done with that house?
Isn't having a board like this required by the urban redevelopment law?
Yeah, you are required under the urban redevelopment law to have this board.
Yeah.
So we're legally required to have it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And again, keep in mind, so the role of this board is, for all intents and purposes, it is fairly limited. It's only in a situation where you would want the redevelopment authority to exercise eminent domain powers to acquire property to then be used for some sort of public development, which admittedly is a fairly rare instance, and then there are other situations if you wanted to deem an area to be a, blighted area, in order for other property acquisition purposes, that would be the other function of this board. But, in most communities of Monessen size, that's not a really viable strategy, because that's a fairly expensive proposition to develop those properties. So it would be a fairly rare instance where this board would actually have to intervene and act in that role. Although once again, conceivably it's not impossible, but it would be a rare instance nonetheless. So, and once again, it's required, and that's why it's in the statute that Monessen have a board like this in place.
So going back to my original question, why can't it be a totally independent board?
Totally independent of who?
The city and redevelopment board.
Well, because it needs to include, under the statute, it's required to have representatives from both.
Okay.
Call the roll.
Councilwoman Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman Gregor,
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Councilman Coles,
Yes.
Mayor Sherrod.
Yes. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to advertise to appoint 3 at-large community members for the Blighted Property Review Board. Is there a second?
Second.
Questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor,
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Yes.
Councilman Cole,
Aye.
Councilwoman Thomas,
Yes.
Mayor Sherrod.
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to remove Councilman Orzechowski as liaison to the Recreation Board. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions?
Yeah, Mayor, how come this didn't show up on the work session?
Because a lot of drama has transpired since then, and we had issues when you were liaison for the Library Board, and now there's issues on the Rec Board, so that is why.
What issues are those? Because I don't even know their names.
I would be more than happy to go through them with you and forward you any emails or anything, but I'm not going to go at length with them at this moment unless someone else on this council would like to. We went through it back and forth last week.
Well, if you're going to do something, an action like this, I think I deserve to know.
You keep causing drama. That's the general point.
I don't even report anything.
Yeah, and that's the other point. There are so much miscommunication between the Recreation Board and this council, and you as liaison have not kept us up to date on what's going on with them.
They haven't done anything over here.
Well, how would we know that? Because we're never told.
I don't get a report from them, and I don't have nothing to report. Library's doing the same thing before. They don't have a report. I have nothing to report. Nothing's been going on, no knowledge, and if something does happen, someone, Mr. Lee or somebody else will let me know, but generally, I never hear from them.
Well, you
I don't
certainly,
think we ever heard from them.
you certainly haven't done anything about the issues going on between the two board members with the threatening and negative emails.
Excuse me, should we be discussing that out here?
Probably not.
Take the vote.
Those,
Get them up.
you know, the interpersonal issues
Yes.
that have developed between two board members, or even more than that, actually.
Probably more.
That, I mean, we won't want to
I
discuss
couldn't
that.
hear that.
What's that?
I couldn't hear that. I couldn't hear Tim
Oh,
talking.
I'm sorry, Lois. I was just saying that the interpersonal disagreements and issues that have developed between, you know, multiple board members, we would not want to discuss those at length in public.
So this request to remove him, is this council's request or is this the board's request?
This is my request.
Because I think if the board is working well with him, I think we should look in, you know, consider that also, because if they're working fine with him, and we may not agree with it, but if they're not complaining, you know, I'm just saying, this ought to be an input from the recreation board also, wouldn't you think?
We didn't have input from the library board when we made you liaison. They requested it, but we didn't.
Because we're just moving and removing people without getting any input from the board that they're liaison for.
It's not really the rec board's decision.
Is there a motion on the floor?
There is.
Good vote.
Call the roll.
Councilman Grigor,
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski,
Well, I guess I could abstain because it affects me, but I'm not.
Councilman Coles,
Aye.
Councilwoman Thomas,
No.
Mayor Sherrod.
Yes.
He's out.
Motion to appoint Councilman Gregor as liaison to the Recreation Board. Is there a second?
Second.
Questions?
So you're gonna replace me on, I haven't been involved with it because you're a personal beef with a couple of people on the board that also don't like you. And you're gonna go to a powder keg to someone else that they possibly really don't like. I think that's it.
Well, you know, it is what it
They
is.
don't run the town. They're their own board.
Yeah, they're a board of the
They're their own
city.
thing.
As you'd like to say, Tony, they exist at the pleasure of council.
No, you're right. That's a pleasure.
Call the roll,
Not the
please.
pleasure of the mayor.
There's a
Let
motion
him
on the
finish.
floor, right?
Let him finish. Let him finish. Please.
Okay, I got a question too. We have all these boards, and we're putting one councilman or woman on two or three boards instead of spreading these boards out so that every board has a different council person on it.
There should be a liaison for every board, but we haven't
Right,
done
but you
that.
have some of us on two or three boards where there will be none on any board.
When there are no liaisons, it basically falls to me or John. So if you want to go down the list and at a future meeting make appointments for liaisons, then maybe some of the boards will actually function.
I'm just saying, you have some with two and some with not. You know, we should be
Who has
giving these. Excuse me?
who has two?
I do.
Oh, you mean people with two. What's your other board? Sewage?
I'm on the library and the redevelopment.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And then now Dawn, you're going to be on this one. And who's on the sewage board? Who's on that one? I mean, we have boards that don't have anyone, but then some with two. We need to spread these boards out.
Then we could do that. Okay. Call the roll.
Councilman Grigor,
Can I vote on this?
It's an unpaid position, right? Yeah, so,
Mhm.
yeah, you're
Alright.
able to vote on this one.
you say yes?
Yes.
Okay. Councilman Orchakowski,
No.
Councilman Coles,
Aye.
Councilwoman Thomas,
No.
Mayor Sherrod.
Yes. The police report for the month ending January 2021, parking permits $425, total miscellaneous collection $295, Total receipts from District Justice Office, $1,454.07. Total receipts collected for January 2021, $2,174.07. Total calls for service for 2021, some highlights: we had 12 commercial alarms, 10 animal complaints, 108 EMS assists, 13 domestic complaints, 22 follow-up investigations, 12 identification checks, 78 miscellaneous calls for service, 26 registration checks, 93 vehicle stops, 5 welfare checks, for a total of 537 calls for the month of January, and of course that is also the same year to date. Councilwoman Thomas?
Yes, good afternoon. The street report, the MVI garbage downtown twice a week, answered 20 PA1 calls, took care of several complaints throughout the city, pole patch throughout the city, fixed 2 catch basins, took down the Christmas decorations, they fixed the icy conditions on State Road, salted roads when needed and got called out for 4 overtime periods. Up the Parks Department cut down dead trees in the city park, picked up litter throughout the city, and put up several signs throughout the city with stop signs, street signs, and honorary signs. On the library report, continued to operate under reduced hours due to COVID restrictions. Director Marcia Adams of the Children's Department has 4 virtual children's programs throughout the month. And as far as the redevelopment authority, they had nothing to report, but they did swear in a new member, Michael Callis. And that's on my report.
Lois, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Who's responsible for snow removal down here at the city building?
Down at the city building, you mean the sidewalk?
Yeah.
I would think the street crew.
It hasn't been done the last couple of
I will
snowfalls.
call Rodney tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Orzachowski?
Thank you, Mayor. Report for January 2021. Parks cleaned the Civic Center as needed, picked up leaves in the city park, moved desks in City Hall, changed lights in the library, set up for COVID testing in the Civic Center, cut trees down in the park, and help the street department as needed, logging roads, coal patches, anything like that. There is for the first time in about a year, there is a Monessen Recreational Board rental for the month of January, and their meeting minutes. But I am no longer the liaison, so someone else can read it.
Councilman Gregor?
I do have a schedule here for the Monessen Recreation Board rentals for the month of January. It's here if you would like to read it. Also, total payments, if paid, becomes $740. All renters have been advised that under the mayor's order, all payments are to be made at City Hall in person or by mail. Renters are also leaving payments at the Civic Center. Payments collected from the Civic Center and sent to City Hall last week totaled $495, $295 by certified mail and confirmed received by the Treasurer's Office. Also, there are the minutes here available for anyone who wants to read them.
Dawn, what does that consist of?
Pardon?
That's the facilities, like the basketball court.
They rent by the hour, and they still get different rec leagues in there.
So that's a backup in.
Mhm.
Thank you. Dawn, is there any rent coming in from the tent downstairs?
I don't know that yet. There should be, but I don't know that yet. I will find out for you. A lot of the problem here is that there's no structure. They come in with envelopes, this was deposited, we didn't, up until, this is the first schedule that we've received since I've been here. I don't know if they ever received them before or not, but this is the first one we've ever received. Code enforcement. Building permits, January, $175. Year-to-date, $175. Street opening permits, $5,200 for January, year-to-date. The same. Magistrate code enforcement, $64.32. Again, that's a year-to-date also. Sign permits, $475. Habitation permits, $3,000, January. Again, same for year-to-date. Landlord fees, $525. And your, okay.
I think that's the total.
Total is $9,439.32. That's for January and the year-to-date. Code activity report, habitation permits were 10, correction letters were 58, animal complaints 1, miscellaneous complaints 12, citations 6, health inspections 2, building permits 1, office meetings with residents 5, zoning permits 1. Fire report for January 2021. Automatic fire alarm 7, motor vehicle entrapment 1, motor vehicle accidents 2, EMS assist 1, landing zone 1, natural gas call 1, structure fire in 33, Webster I guess, was 1, false alarms 1, stove fire 1, structure fire Denora 1, total call 17, total responding was 176, average responding per call was 10.35, total man hours 153 hours. I wanted to compliment both companies on their response on the 10th Street fire. They did a very, very good job on that one. And then just the other night, we had a fire up at Park Manor, and they did an even better job with the stop that they made on that. Well done to both of the fire departments and to the mutual aid companies coming in and assisting.
I have to second that too, Don.
They did a heck of a job. They did a heck of a job.
They did excellent, excellent. I've even had people tell me that they said they were excellent, they were on the money, they were quick, they were precise. I've had people calling me and telling me about them that lived in Park Manor and in the 10th Street house. So they do need to be commended. They did an excellent job, which I always knew we had great fire department crew. So I hope that we just need to make sure they know that the city, the residents do appreciate them and know how an excellent job they do.
I'll pass it on for you, Lois.
And I believe you skipped the EMS report.
I might have. I'm not sure how I did that unless I flipped the page. That's exactly what I did. I apologize for that. Let's see, EMS, Mon Valley Emergency Medical Services, they had emergency calls of 105, fire standby 6, for a total of 114 calls.
Councilman Coles?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, my report on council finance is as follows. Item A, I am asking for a motion to approve payment of invoices from the general fund in the amount of $120,728.20.
Second, is there a question? Call the roll.
Councilor Chakowski?
Yes.
Councilman Coles?
Yes?
Councilwoman Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Mayor Sherrod?
Yes.
Item B, I'm asking for a motion to approve the payment of invoices from the line usage fund in the amount of $72,317.76.
Second, Questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Coles?
Yes, aye.
Councilwoman Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Mayor Sherrod?
Yes.
Item C, I'm asking for a motion to approve payment of invoices from the park fund in the amount of $17,894.50.
Second. Questions? Call the roll.
Councilwoman Thomas?
Yes.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilman Coles?
Yes.
Mayor Sherrod?
Yes.
Item D, a motion I'm asking for to approve the payment of invoices for the recreation in the amount of $759.83.
Second. Questions? Call the roll.
Councilman Gregor?
Aye.
Councilman Orchakowski?
Yes.
Councilman Coles?
Yes.
Councilwoman Thomas?
Yes.
Mayor Sherrod?
Yes.
Yes, item E, my report on the large dollar account balances for the month ending January are the following. Number one, in the general fund, in the amount of $307,509.87. Number two, line usage, $59,445.48. Item three, in healthcare, $18,784.51. Item four, parks and recreation, $12,518.18. Item five, debt service, $11,653.85. Mayor, that concludes my report.
Thank you. I'd like to open the floor to public comment, if anyone has anything. Val?
Mayor,
Yes.
Go ahead.
I'd like to, I put something on here that's not on the agenda, but I'll, is anybody in public comment?
Yes, there is public
Wait,
comment.
they're done.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Valerie Weibel, 515 Delaware. And a couple things. One, I wanted to introduce myself. For those of you that don't know me, I am one of the appointees to the rec board. So, hi, looking forward to working with you. Two, didn't know that we even had a liaison till like the end of the meeting that we had in January. So now that I do, I know kind of how things go. Three, wait, there was a third. You have our January minutes, but we didn't vote on them yet, like, and approve them. So I think that's kind of out of order. So in the future, that'll be taken care of. And I wanted you to know that we are working on bylaws and policies for the rec board so that we can get it functioning properly. So that's all I got. Have a good evening.
Nice to meet you.
Okay, this is Ernie again. Ms. Thomas, I'd like to ask you a question. With all the snow coming, and we're going to have a rough February, maybe early March, do you people have enough salt for the roads?
That, you can run that to Mr. Harhide, because he would know how much salt we have left in our office.
Yeah, but I thought you were taking care of that department.
Yes, I am, but I can't keep track of I wouldn't know how much salt is left up in there. That's something daily, on a daily basis of usage.
Well, I mean, shouldn't you have some contact with them?
Yes, I do, but if there's a salt, if they need salt, they go directly to Mr. Harhide.
Okay, and
Because there's no way we can be daily in contact with them. So that's why Mr. Harhide is there.
okay, now, I'm expecting a lot of potholes. They're gonna be coming up in March because all this freezing and thawing. What sort of outlook do you have there as far as patching them or repairing them?
They patch as much as they can when they have the cold patch.
Yeah, how much could you handle? Because the roads are starting to
But
bust
I
up.
can't hear you, Ernie. Somehow I can't hear you. You're at a distance.
Ernie, these are crazy questions. You're ridiculous, so it didn't even happen yet. It didn't even happen yet. Let it
You're
happen.
supposed to be
Okay.
proactive, not
Okay.
reactive, okay? And I didn't interrupt you, big mouth, big mouth.
You got the big mouth. You
Yeah,
can't
this ain't the church,
All
this
right.
ain't the
This
church,
ain't nothing about
okay?
it. Sit
Do
down.
you have any other
I'm
comments?
tired of
Yeah.
hearing you. Sit down.
You get out.
You sit down.
All
You
right.
trying to predict something, how much salt we're gonna have, how much snow. You predict. You're the
Well, what are you
weatherman.
gonna do whenever there's
You're
a
the
lot of snow
weatherman.
out there?
Okay.
You're the weatherman.
Yeah.
Sit down.
Anyway, now, I wanna ask another question here, okay?
I'm gonna hold it so they can hear you.
Yeah, what are you guys gonna do with, the situation where there's nothing happening in the city? Like it's dead. So, you guys are trying to reorganize everything. You're trying to, put new board members and liaisons and all this stuff. But what's the plan of action?
Well, that's why, one, we adopted the comp plan. Two, in the last 12 months, we've had 6 buildings fixed or in the process being fixed downtown, and one of them is rented. I know the owners are looking for rentals for the rest of them, so that is a huge start. And I mean, obviously, there are a lot of vacant houses. John and I have been working to try to get people to purchase the houses that are on the unsold tax list, just by promoting that and trying to get people in who will fix them and put them back on the tax rolls. So, you know, council has done it numerous times already. If you have a property that you're looking at that's on the unsold list, that's, let's say it has 10 years of back taxes and maybe the property isn't too bad, we're willing to exonerate taxes if you're willing to fix the
Okay,
property.
so
So
that's
that's a huge step
Okay, that's for 6 participants.
so far, yes.
Okay,
Downtown. There have been some houses too.
okay. All I know is this. You guys lost that building down there. See, the taxes got withered down to 10,000. And I don't even know, you're collecting on them?
On the
Here?
taxes?
Yeah.
That's a question for Debbie or Jerry, because I don't know offhand.
Okay,
I'm
so-
assuming so, but
Okay,
I
so we
don't.
got nothing. And then the bank gave you this building and you lost property and school taxes there. Now you're moving over there, you're gonna lose property and school taxes there. So like if we're gonna balance, zero balance, how much are we bringing in and how much we lost? And it looks like it's tipped.
Well, it's been tipped because we need to
Yeah,
attract,
but it's getting tipped more.
because we need to
That's
attract more
why-
people here.
You know, that building down there is prime real estate. You got 4 floors, parking. If you could take that building over, I'll do it myself. You could get companies in there.
Mayor,
Ernie,
They go to the building.
do
My point is-
you honestly think that if we could just take the building over, we wouldn't have done so? You think I don't
Someone
agree with
owns
you about the promissory note? But we didn't write it. We didn't do it. This council had nothing to do with that.
You can't resolve
But
that?
you just, what do you want us to do, Ernie? Just walk in there and take the building over? We can't. We're looking into it. You think everything can be done overnight, and it
No,
cannot.
I didn't say overnight.
You say, oh, 6, we only got
We were
6,
talking
let me
about
finish, Ernie. You said that we only have, what's going on, what's their plan? We're trying to bring in people. We brought in some people, they're getting started. 6 may not sound like a lot, but it's a start. We have to start somewhere. We're building. The things that we're doing, we're trying to make the city of Monessen better. It's going to take time. I won't be in office when the city gets turned around.
Why not?
I may be dead. I don't know. It may be 10 or 15 years. But I'm telling you, the city's going to turn around. It's already started. But it can only start slowly. You're not going to have the opportunity like we had back in 2014 where we had investors and stuff. We're looking for them now. We're talking to some people. There's been investors that have been run out of the city.
I know.
Okay? We can't undo everything. And some of it was just by mistakes. I've made my share of mistakes while being on. It can be. We would. But you can't. That was done by a previous administration. There's no one on council that had anything to do with it.
No, I'm not blaming council.
Well, it was done.
I just want somebody to step up and take it
I've
back.
never heard in my life of giving a promissory note to someone
know.
and giving them the deed before you pay it off.
That's right.
But we did. The city did, not we did. The city did.
Don, I'm buying that building anyway, just for point of reference. I already don't know that yet.
Well, thank you, George. I
Yes.
appreciate that.
I'll have something made with that building.
We'll keep you to that.
The thing is, Ernie, it takes time. When I got on council, I didn't realize,
How much stuff there is,
yeah, and how things work. Things don't work the way, like in the private industry. They just don't. I wish they did, but they don't.
But you, Tim, I mean, can you step up and offer some angles?
With respect to the building in
Yeah.
particular, the irony about that building is you as a private citizen could do more with respect to that building
Well,
than we
how
can.
come nobody calls me? You said that about 6 months ago. Instruct me what to do and I'll go do it. Because that's prime real estate.
He's not your legal counsel, he's the city's.
Well, you just said that.
Get your own legal counsel.
So,
These guys, I'm telling you, all 5 council members, they're practically volunteers. And this position does not pay hardly anything. And the amount of stuff that they've got to deal with on a daily basis is incredible. I mean, they try very, very hard. I can tell you that from having worked with all of them. And so, you know, sure, some criticism is always warranted. You know, you want to keep people on their toes. And like Councilman Greger said, everybody's learning something every day. But the crew that you've got here is trying hard, and you pointed out the comprehensive plan that there was a lot of money spent on that before. But if you look through it, council's already taken action, even though they just adopted it last month. Council's already started checking off a lot of those items even beforehand.
okay, and council or the mayor could put updates on the website, what progress they're making? Sure.
I can do that.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
And also, instead of having anonymous tips, why don't you put on there, like, anybody has a business incentive to
Well,
offer to the city.
there's a business development tab that is currently being built, but we're going to keep that anonymous tip line because there are people that want to report drug activity and such.
They know
that-
where to report. All they have to do is call 911. Okay, there's task
There are
force.
people that do not feel comfortable
Well,
calling
listen, if
911.
you're paying the police department $1.2 million, let them do their work.
We're-
I
we're-
want you people to spend your time in trying to turn around the city.
They can't
That's
do
it.
their work if they don't have the information to do it.
They got more information than you know what's going on now
We're gonna
on
keep
ABC and
the,
CBS.
we're gonna keep the tip line. It's not costing us
The
anything to
tip
have
line,
that.
all they have to do is call 911.
There are people that don't call 911, so we're gonna keep the tip line. It doesn't cost us anything.
Who are these people that don't call 911?
I'm not gonna tell you.
I know a lot of people, they call 911 whenever the grass is 6 inches tall.
There are
What are
those
you
people,
talking about?
there are those people too.
Not enough.
All right, since you got enough, I quit.
Thanks, Ernie. Up there.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any comments?
Mayor,
Oh, yes, sorry.
just a quick question, please.
Mhm.
And that is, to please receive our information for our meetings, again, electronically. This packet stuff that's dropped off does not work. Some of us work for work, and we don't get home till late evening.
Well, I mean, you could always come to the building and get it, you know, like you told me. So, John gets you John hand delivers you the information, which is more than I received. So, you're getting the information. I don't think it matters how you receive the information, as long as you receive the information. So, if it is easier for them,
Matt, I
You're-
disagree with that. If we work till 5, how are we supposed to come and get it if we're at work?
well, you didn't. He dropped it off at your house.
Right, but the thing is, by the time I get home after 5, with all these resolutions and things that we have to approve, we don't have time to read them.
All this stuff was given to you at last week's meeting, most of it, except the grant. The grant wasn't. The ordinance was given to you last week.
There was a new one with the strategic management planning thing was in there.
Yes.
There was the recreation board thing in there. There's a whole lot of new stuff in there. When you get home 5:30, that's not enough time to really do it.
Are you going to read your city stuff at work?
That's
What
not
I'm
nice.
saying is, if you email it to us, we do have lunch. I had a whole hour at lunchtime. I could have reviewed it. You understand? If you emailed it, I did have an hour at lunch where I could have reviewed it. Otherwise, I didn't get this till I got home.
I don't think it was ready by lunchtime because John was still finishing it.
That's what it's not giving us, whatever, Matt, because you act like you don't understand what I'm talking about.
No, I do, but I mean, if it's not ready, then it's not there to give.
So what I'm saying is that it's very hard to try to review this and honestly make a good decision on it when we don't even have time to look at it. I'm not trying to complain, I'm just being real with you.
Doing it anyway.
It was like this for a year. We got everything electronically. Why did it change?
No reason. It just seems that you're never satisfied. So.
No, we're requesting as council, two members telling you we would like to please have it electronically. It's a request that should be easily handled. Notices are cut.
I don't care either way.
I wouldn't have a problem with John dropping off. That's not a problem. Because when I was home, when we were working from home, it wasn't a problem because when he dropped it off, I was at home. Was I not, John? When I worked remotely, John dropped them off. One time I even answered the door because I was working remotely. I went back to work in March, back to the office, so I'm no longer home anymore. So it doesn't allow me to get the packet to look at it and review it. So we're just trying to be honest, it just helps if we can get them electronically because we do have hours for lunch, we do have breaks where we can look at it. It's just asking, if it's possible to do that. It just would help us to have more time to look at it, okay?
I think
That's one of the things Marlene used to do.
I think one of the issues that happened here was that there had been some changes from one of the packets that went out to council, and you never received the current updated ones when they were sent to you. I think that's why Mr. Harhide started delivering them to you, just to make sure you got them.
That was last month.
Yeah, that was one of the issues. You said that you hadn't received some of the stuff, and then you hadn't received the updates.
If there's an update, that's fine, but if we get the original information, that's fine. If something's updated at the last minute, we just have to understand that. But the original, most of the packet is going to stay the same. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, I understand what you're saying. It's
Right,
just
so
that,
that's what I can understand something updated last minute, we may not get that. And you clarify that. We had to update this, we had to change it, and that's fine. Because most of the time, Matt, you'll say, well, we'll give you 5 minutes to look at the updated version of it. But the majority of the packet, there aren't updates for most of the packet. So we can just get the originals, any updates at the last minute, there's nothing you can do about that.
well, one thing that we can do is, and this is just a thought, that we have our work sessions, and if something new comes up, it doesn't get put in at all, unless we can send it to you in a timely fashion. That would be one way so you would have time to look at it. That's actually what I thought the work sessions were for. I saw there was a couple of things in here that were not at the work session, but I didn't think too much of it because it wasn't that difficult to go over it. But if we can limit it to just what we discussed at the work session, works for me.
Most of the time we were meeting in person, most of us did come earlier, like a half hour earlier or something like that, so we could see the changes, and that wasn't an issue there because we were there early. We had time to look at any updated changes. But, right now, because I have an aunt who's 87 and an aunt who's 72, who have the one had cancer 2 years ago, and the one has been in the hospital 2 years in a row with bronchitis and pneumonia. I am not going anywhere until I am not vaccinating, my family is vaccinating, so this is why I'm not attending, not because I don't want to, because I'm trying to look out for the safety of my family. So that's the only reason I'm not attending. So that's why I'm asking if, you guys can do with what the main package you can get to us, and any updates, please, that's going to be that's the way it is. Like, we're just asking that for now, that we all work together for what situation we're in with COVID right now.
Before I forget to, I wanted to announce that starting tomorrow, the building will be open during business hours again to the public. So you all could come down and pay your taxes. So the employees have requested that we open it to allow, there is a capacity limit of 16 people, including the employees. I don't look for there to be that big of a crowd of people coming in here.
Just make sure you wear your mask and you
Yes.
do the social distancing
Yes,
stuff.
for the safety of the employees, we ask that you wear your mask when you're in here. Trying to think what else. I think that's it. Oh, and because a lot of people have been asking in regards to the food distribution that was supposed to happen last Friday, the trucks were delayed. They were coming in from the Midwest, and obviously they got slammed with snow last week. So I'm working with the other coordinator to make sure that we get it up and running for this Friday. And that food distribution is for anyone. It is meat, dairy, and produce. There are 1,100 boxes available. I will be putting a press release to the paper and to the news when I have the confirmation. I'm expecting the confirmation tomorrow morning. I don't want to do that until it's confirmed, but we're working to get that up and running for this Friday. So, but that's about it.
For all the Mon Valley, right?
Yeah, it's for the whole Mon Valley, but obviously first come, first serve. We felt really bad because we had 100 cars down there on Friday that didn't get the memo that we postponed, so there's obviously a need. So.
And it's the vote one, correct?
Yes, yes. I'll make sure everyone else gets an email too when I get the final load. So we'll be looking for volunteers to help unload the boxes. I have some high school students that have committed to help, and some other volunteers. So, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn at 8:48.